Hey guys, it's LSuperSonicQ here with more Samus clay tutorial parts. We are pretty close to the end, to be honest, so let's keep going so we can have our finalized Samus clay model. Alright, so this is what we have so far with all the parts so far, and now we are going to move into the lower body / legs. So here we go. I'm going to roll some clay kind of into, I guess, another circle. And now we're going to need the body because we're going to have to kind of use it as reference. And so far what we have done is we've only gotten up to this part. We still have this lower part. So that's what we're gonna do. There we go. So it's kind of like a shape like this. And I don't really have any great I don't have any great words to describe this. I think it's kind of just visual. So make it into a shape like that, I guess. I mean, I kind of just sculpted it on camera, and we'll see how it kind of looks. And you should be able to, I guess, kind of like push it in, and then these should go all the way around like that. I guess you want to make sure it's somewhat even. Again, being careful of the rest of this detailing and stuff. My clay is kind of hard now because I guess it was sitting out for so long, so that actually might help instead of it all being kind of still wet, I guess. So you could just kind of let it sit out, dry for a little bit. And then you can kind of work with it a little better, but I wouldn't recommend baking it or anything yet, because we're still going to have to add the arms and stuff, so that would be not a good idea. But I guess I'm going to take more of this off. Kind of press my fingers in like this. And I think this is as good as we're going to get for this kind of section. With our toothpick, these like main lines that we made going down, like right here, this should continue on, kind of go off to the side, and then this should continue on and go off to the side as well. And if the clay looks like it might look like it's two separate colors, that's because this top part I did when I kind of had some red in my hands, and I don't have any red on my hands right now. So that's why it might look a little cleaner at the bottom, but maybe it doesn't, maybe it's just me. But yeah. I'm going to connect this to the back as well. Like that. And now we got this going on right here, and alright. Okay. So, as we did with the head, because we kind of made that little indent with the head, and the black goes in there very nicely, we did the same thing on both sides. And Samus's legs kind of have that little black joint in them. So I'm just going to put some black clay right there. And this is going to kind of act as the same way as the head did. And it's going to probably make the connection between the legs and this part of the body a little easier. And it kind of gives us some direction as to, why is this green up here messing up? And it's going to give us a little direction as to where to put the legs anyway. So let's just make sure that's kind of good scale. Yeah, that's good. I think I've done a really good job with keeping the scale and proportion as good as I did for, kind of converting the two-dimensional artwork on here. Like all the parts kind of go down exactly where they would if you were to compare it to the artwork. So props to me. Yeah. All right. So oh yeah, we gotta do the legs now. So, I'm only going to show one leg because this is going to be the same for both legs, except you're just going to have to kind of flip it around. So I guess, for the sake of this, I'll be doing this leg because it's kind of right here, and you can see this little, whatever you call that, little part that's kind of pushed outwards. So, I'm going to take some yellow for this. Now, this is a technique that I've used quite a bit in my clay, and it's kind of like this. So notice that we're going to need yellow and some orange, I guess. But what I found is easier is, and I guess this kind of, the whole point of this technique, I guess mostly it kind of came about because it was a good way of saving clay. If I had something that was, it was going to require a lot of black clay, I would sculpt it in a different color and then just kind of roll the black really flat and cover the other bit with black. So that's kind of what we're going to do here. Is because I don't want to use up a lot of the orange, because I only have like this much left, and I mean we could probably get through with the rest of this with just that, but just in case, I think it would be easier if we did this anyway, because we'd be able to make these kind of ridges in the three-dimensional parts a little bit better. We're going to sculpt the leg, the entire, or well, at least this part of the leg, which is going to be the bulk of it, with the yellow, and then afterwards we'll use the orange, which is more like a brown. I'm not colorblind, guys, but I don't know. I always thought Samus was kind of like orange and red, not so much brown and red. But anyway, they were going to use the brown / orange or whatever to cover it, which again, it'll probably be a little bit better as we go through this. And I just realized that Samus has two parts to her leg. She has a knee joint, and then, oh, lucky me! Check that out on the back of the box, right here. It's a perfect, like, lower part of the leg. And we can see the upper part pretty well right here, too. Thank you, GameBox. I guess I don't have to go into the game. Or maybe I still do, because maybe I'll check the instruction booklet for the back of her head, because I know she has some jet booster things on the back of her, like, suit. So, anyway, that's off topic. Alright, so I'm going to do, I guess, what I would call the first part of the leg, which is sculpting this, and it would probably be helpful if you kind of laid it all out so you can kind of see what's going on. And Samus's head is not going to stand up like I want it to. So, I would say, I'm going to say her leg probably ends right as the arm cannon ends as well. So I'm going to make that. So I would say probably about right there is good. I guess a little bit farther than the arm cannon. But I'm going to flatten this bit of the leg because it's going to be easier when we put it on. And I guess I'll have to kind of bend the leg as well. I want a flat area on this part of the leg. And just going off the clock, it looks like we'll have to save the lower part of the leg for the next episode. So maybe we have a few more episodes than I thought we did. But yeah, I want it to be like this so that when it has to go on like that, it fits really nicely. So make sure you got this flat area on the inside here. Alright. And I'm just going to cut this so it's flat. Just because I feel like it should be. And I guess that's it so far for this yellow part of the leg. Except I'm going to also cut it at a slight angle. If you can kind of see, it's at this angle. Because going off of the artwork, and I guess human legs in general, they're not like so fat right there. And it should be, yeah, angled like this. It looks a little better. Because I guess the thigh is typically more, well, yeah, the thighs are more bulky, I guess, than the rest of the leg. So that looks a lot better. See what I did there? It creates some depth. So there we go. And that's about as far as we can get for that right now. So now is kind of where that technique comes in, and I really hope this works out. I'm going to roll the clay into a sphere again, and then I'm going to roll it into this, and then I'm going to flatten it out. Which again, if I was doing this on the table, it would be a lot easier. I know I keep saying that, but this is like such a bad way to flatten clay, but I guess in the air I don't really have a choice. Alright, so once this is all flattened out, then I'm going to use my best judgment and try and put this as well as I can onto the leg. I guess I need to make the side a little bit more even, so I'm just going to I'm just going to cut it, I guess, straight. Then I'm going to do my best and kind of angle this and put it as well as I can onto the leg. So now this did two things. Like I said, we're going to wrap it around the leg like this. I mean, a much better way. But right now, this is kind of showing it. We're going to wrap it around the leg like this, so we cover the yellow part of the leg. And then I probably could have maybe done this a little thicker, or maybe this is actually a good thickness. But then we kind of created that depth with the leg about how the brown armor is kind of, or I should say the yellow armor is kind of inward more, and the brown armor is kind of outward more. So, like I said, as you can kind of see there, it's kind of, you know, there's depth to it, and we kind of created some depth with this technique. So I guess the thicker it is, then the more noticeable it's going to be. I'm just going to kind of pinch it up, and it'll probably be a little bit more noticeable. Yeah, see? Check that out. That depth. Alright, so now I'm going to take this off of the bottom, and I believe, yeah, I think this goes mostly all the way around the leg. I don't think it goes as far in the back as in the front. Or maybe it does. But, and we just gotta make sure, yeah, that is a really good size. I just want to check that size. That's really good compared to everything else. I mean, like, compared to as in when it's with everything else, it's all a good size. I'm not saying like it's a better size than anything else we've done. Everything is all in proportion so far. So then I'm going to, again, just kind of rip some clay off and shape it as best as I can. Looks like the brown kind of goes up higher than the yellow. And we're already at 12 minutes, so I guess we'll save detailing for the next part, I guess. Or maybe I'll save detailing for the very last bit. Not sure yet. So it should be kind of like this shape. And there actually is a little kind of cutout area in the armor, so I guess you can just take your toothpick and kind of cut that out right there. So it kind of creates that shape right there. Like this. And I think that is looking pretty good. I really like how that looks. So cool. I think I am going to call it for this part. We've pretty much sculpted the bulk of this leg, and I think what I'm going to do next is, well, I guess we'll just keep working on it. So yeah, next part we'll continue on with this.